Greetings to all. This is Dr. V. Jayaprakasan, Associate Professor in EC Department, MITS deemed to be University. I thank the MITS management for giving this opportunity to deliver the lecture through online videos. So today I'm talking about overview about the wired and wireless communication, a closer look, because communication is very important for each and every human being. So our objective is describe how device, technology and networks impacting our daily life to provide the fundamental understanding of wired and wireless communication systems, then comparing the wired and wireless communication technologies. Then if time permits, I can provide the closer overview on real-time applications, challenges and future advancements in communication technologies. Then motivate students towards higher learning, certifications, internships, and research in networking and communication domains. So, first we can understand how devices, technologies, and networks impact our daily life. 10 15 years back, if we want to do banking or world news, weather forecast, we can understand means it is very difficult. But now today we are enjoying online banking, world news, live coverage, weather forecast, and traffic conditions, everything on our mobile phone. So this is the way that the device may be a mobile phone or laptop or desktop, and those devices are supporting the human to understand and enjoy the technology and developments. So today we are enjoying online banking, world news, weather forecast and traffic conditions. And similarly, the devices and technologies are supporting the way to teaching and learning also. Say during the particular COVID situation, even the students are not going to the schools and colleges, but still we are not stopping our learning. We are enjoying the teaching and learning process because of this devices and technologies only. Similarly, the way we are working style also changed. Some students can understand their seniors or family, friends or relatives are working from home. How it is happened? Because of devices and technology improvements only, the way of working style also changed. See, today we are enjoying with the help of smart card. We can say a credit card or debit card. We are entering into the ATM machine. Within 30 seconds, we are dropping the money. And we are in one country, we can make a call to US or UK. So with less delay, we are enjoying the communication also. All these things are possible because of this devices and technologies and the device networking also. Similarly, the way we are playing also changed. 10 to 15 years back, when we want to play, we have to go outside of the schools and colleges or home. But today, all the students are addicted with the mobile phone and devices. So through that, we are enjoying online games, online entertainments, and online booking of travel tickets also. So completely the devices and the technology development and the networks completely changed the way we are working, we are playing also. So all put together, we can say that devices and technology supports the humans we to learn, to communicate, to work as well as play. So we will start with the fundamental basic communications. So we are talking about devices, technology, networking, all for what purpose? For communication purpose. So I want to overview about the communication, whether it may be a wired or wireless. So we will start with the wired communication. So what is mean by basically communication? Communication means sharing of information. Imagine I am having some information to share with the students. So I am here. So sharing of information between one to one or one to many. That is a starting place of communication. So one to one or one to many, whether we have to follow any rules and regulations. Yes. So definitely. For example, one to one or one to many, the communication is going to happen means the common language must be the rule. Not only common language, timing, everything is coming to the picture. So technically we can say the word called protocols. Protocol is nothing but set of rules and regulations. So whenever we are thinking about start communication, sharing of information between one to one or one to many, we have to follow the protocols, right? So for example, common language, college timing, right? So everything comes under in the set of rules and regulations, right? Now, where the communication starts means face to face, because imagine I am also human, another person also human, one to one or one to many, we are starting our communication face to face. So in that scenario, whether we are depend on any devices and technology, no, because I am also human, the listeners also human. So I am speaking through my vocal cord, whatever my brain is giving the information to talk. Okay, so based on the brain, whatever I want to convey through my vocal cord, I am conveying. Similarly, the receivers or listeners, they are also human. They are listening through ears. So during this communication scenario, as a human, we are not depending on any devices and technologies. So communication starting from face to face, one to one, or one to many. The next level we are in delivering the lecture to more students. So imagine the scenario classroom. In the classroom, teacher is teaching 70 students. So there also how the communication is happening. Faculty is teaching through his vocal cord whatever he wants to convey. He is teaching through vocal cord voice signals, and the students are listening through their ears. So there in classroom environment also no need of devices and technology. So communication starts from face to face, then classroom. Till the place we are not depending on any devices. But imagine the scenario looks like a seminar hall or auditorium. We'll think about the scenario of seminar hall. What is happening? Around 120 or 180 students are in seminar hall. In that scenario, teacher is taking the class. Whether the voice signal will reach to the last person, imagine? No. There is no signal is reaching to the last person in the seminar hall or auditorium. The main reason is the human voice frequency is low frequency. So low frequency signal can travel low distance. So now what happened? The signal strength of the voice signal is degraded after 10 to 15 meters. Then the signal is not reached to the last person. So now what we are doing means now as a human we started utilizing devices and technologies. So in a seminar hall or auditorium level, we are in a situation to start utilizing the device called microphone, amplifiers and cables and speakers, etc. All comes under the electronic devices. Okay, so imagine in a seminar hall or auditorium what is happening. The same teacher is taking the class through microphone, right? So in what is happening in microphone, the voice signal is converted into electrical pulse, then some sort of signal processing happening, then that signal electrical signal is traveling to amplifier through the cable. Then amplifier is also another electronic device doing some signal processing, increase the signal strength. Again there is a cable, then finally speaker will be there. So what is the speaker is doing? The speaker converts the analog signal into acoustic signal. So if the seminar hall means 2-3 speakers, suppose if it is an auditorium, we can keep depends upon the distance, number of speaker will be increases, right? So once again I am repeating the communication starting from face to face, then classroom, no need of devices and technology. But when we are thinking about seminar hall and auditorium, right, we are forced to utilize the devices. Then now I want to increase the distance. That means long distance communication. Imagine the scenario. I want to establish communication between 1 kilometer distance. Then what are the things are needed, right? So imagine the situation, right? I want to connect A to B 1 kilometer distance, right? 1 kilometer distance. What are the way I can establish the wired communication? So 1 kilometer distance, if I want to make a wired communication, then I need the two telephone devices. That is normally called as a end device. So two telephone instruments, those two telephone instruments having some technology, right? Then those two telephone instruments are connected by a 1 kilometer cable, right? So what are the technologies are available in the telephone instrument now? My first one is modulation. There is a technology called modulation. Why we need modulation, right? Because low frequency signal can travel low distance, high frequency signal can travel high distance. That we know the basics. So now the human voice signal is a low frequency signal wants to travel long distance. Now we are using the modulation as a technology. Here high frequency signal is combined with the low frequency signal. Nothing but it's called as a carrier signal. So low frequency voice signal will be modulated with the high frequency carrier signal. So the signal is traveling long distances. See, because of modulation only today we are enjoying wired or wireless communications. If modulation is not there, the communication is big question mark. Okay. So now the telephone instrument is having a modulation and encoding, decoding, so many technologies. So two telephone instruments are connected by a 1 kilometer cable. Okay. Now two telephone instruments are connected by the cable, right? The question is whether the signal from A telephone to B telephone, whether the signal will travel 1 kilometer. That is the question. Normally in the telephone communications, the signal, the nothing but the electrical pulse which is available inside the telephone itself. So we are not in a position to give any external voltage or anything. So imagine A to B, two human being is connected with the telephone. They are started conversation. Hello, how are you? Right? So the electrical pulse taking care of the signal transmission. The question is whether the signal from A to B 1000 meters or 1 kilometer, whether the signal will reach it to the destination means there is a big question mark, right? The signal will not travel more than 200 or 300 meters. The reason is the resistance of the cable. Okay. So now we have to understand one concept. We know everybody knows about the Ohm's law, V equal to IR, I equal to V by R. Right? Now here we will relate this I equal to V by R. V is a signal amplitude fixed in voltage. Then current is nothing but the energy of the signal at the starting point A. Right? So voltage is fixed, resistance at the beginning is 0, and the V by R current rating energy of the signal at the beginning is. Now what is happening now depends upon the distance the signal is traveling, right? The resistance is keep on increases in the denominator. So everybody will think over where the resistance is available. See where we are using the cable, right? In a wired communication we are using the cable. Cable inside there is a copper wire will be there. That copper wire having a resistance. So now what is happening depends upon the quality of the cable, right? Depends upon the quality of the cable, the resistance matters. To understand the students, you can take a cable, any variety of cable and multimeters. You can measure the cable 1 meter 1 ohm, 2 meters 2 ohm. So like that what will happen? If the depends upon the distance, the resistance keep on increases. So what is happening? Voltage is fixed at the beginning, then resistance keep on increases, then automatically the energy of the signal current is degraded. So after certain period of 200 to 300 meters, signal becomes degraded and the signal is not able to travel another couple of meters. Now we want to introduce repeater or regenerator to solve the problem, right? So every 300 meters, what we have to do? We have to keep as a device called repeater or regenerator. This is nothing but an electronic instrument or electronic circuit which increases the signal strength, and again the another 300 meters the signal will pass comfortably. Sir, where it is applicable? Yeah, best example is cable TV distribution. Imagine in a cable TV distribution, every 300 meters there is a small box will be there. Suppose whenever the customer is making a call to the cable TV distributor, in my home the TV picture tube is not good, the quality of the signal is very poor, then what will happen? The cable TV distributor will come and visit the place and they will keep the electronic device called repeater or regenerator. So then again what will happen? Another 30 homes the signal will go comfortably. So this is the way wired communication is established, right? Some imagines A to B 1 kilometer. Suppose I want to connect another 10 kilometers distance. No worries. 10-kilometer cable you have to lay. Depends upon the distance. You have to keep number of repeaters or regenerators. Then you can connect the end devices, telephone instruments at the wherever you want to make a voice communication. So this is the way wired communication is established, right? So I can overview that to establish wired communication. What are the materials are required? End devices with the technology, nothing but the device may be a mobile telephone, right? Telephone with the technology. Modulation is a technology. Encoding, decoding, all this comes under the technologies. Then cables, right? To connect the end devices, we need the cables. So depends upon the distance, we have to purchase the cable and to connect the devices. Then we need a repeaters or regenerators. Depends upon the distance, the quality of the cable and number of repeaters are varies. So this is the way wired communication is established. Now we'll enter into the wireless communication, right? Imagine the same scenario, A to B 1 kilometers, right? I want to establish wireless communication means what are the things are needed now? Definitely we have to think about the devices with the capacity of transmitting and receiving circuits. Okay, so to establish a wireless communication, the first device is needed is the device is needed with the technology. The technology is nothing but that device can have a capacity to transmit the signal, receive the signal, right? Now you just imagine the mobile phone. Mobile phone is an electronic device, right? That contains all the technologies, right? Now we have to think about one parameter. If you are thinking about wireless communication, what about the signal transmission, right? The signal can be traveled in the form of electromagnetic waves because the devices are communicating in wireless. So open air will be the medium. So now the frequency will play a major role, right? So wireless communication, so many examples are there. Radio and television broadcasting, radar communication, satellite communication, cellular communication, global positioning system, and etc. Many more are there. Imagine today we are booking a cab. The cab person is coming in front of your doorstep. All because of wired and wireless communication, right? We can say we are enjoying wireless communication, we are enjoying wireless communication, but for wireless communication, the complete backbone is wired background. So now we have to understand about the electromagnetic spectrum because why this is very important. See, Think about the wired communication. Here in wired communication, if I want to establish wired communication 60-kilometer distance, I can purchase or manufacture the cable, purchase the cable, lay the 60 kilometers cable. We can establish wired communication. But in wireless communication, what to purchase, right? Because the medium is open air. So signal is traveling in the form of electromagnetic waves. There what to purchase? Not possible. So if we are thinking about wireless communication, we have to think about the frequency. So frequency is playing a major role, and frequency is a very scarce resource. It's not like a cable we are not able to manufacture or purchase, right? So what is happening for our understanding, we have to understand the electromagnetic spectrum. When we are thinking about frequency, you have to understand about the electromagnetic spectrum, because the frequency is a scarce resource. So imagine if you are looking the electromagnetic spectrum, the frequency band is divided into so many levels, right? Extremely low frequency, right? Then ultra low frequency, very low frequency, medium frequency, high frequency, very high frequency. Why all these things, right? Because depends upon the frequency, the application will be selected. Here there are three columns are there. First one is application, second is typical frequency, then the wavelength, right? So for example, if you think about the FM radio station, right, from the top on the list, third one FM radio, the frequency 88 to 108 megahertz is fixed for FM radio communication, right? So all over the world, the 88 to 108 megahertz will be the FM radio communication. So, sir, how can I understand? Imagine today you are in India, you are having one mobile phone. You can enjoy the FM radio station with the Hindi songs or Tamil or Telugu songs, depends upon the state where you are living, right? Tomorrow you can go with the same mobile phone in another country, UK or USA. There also FM radio stations will be there with a different language, with a different name. But if you are tuning the FM radio between 88 to 108 megahertz, right? So many channels you will receive. So now what you have to understand means 88 to 108 megahertz frequency band all over the world is allocated for only the purpose of FM radio communication. So similarly for smartphone, right? 850 to 1900 megahertz frequency. Today we are enjoying 2G and 3G, but now completely we are moved to 5G or 6G communications. So if you look into the table electromagnetic spectrum, you can understand depends upon the distance increases, the frequency value also increases. If imagine for a satellite communication we are using 2.33 to 2.45 gigahertz, that frequency value will indicate you depends upon the distance, the frequency also keep on increases. So in wireless communication the frequency will play a major role, right? We can understand. So signaling in communication. So when you are thinking about, we are talking about or thinking about wired or wireless communication means the signal can travel any one of the three ways. If the devices are connected by the cable, then the signal will follow in the form of flowing in the form of electrical pulse. Suppose the devices are connected by optical fiber cable, the signal can travel in the form of optical lights pulses. Suppose devices are connected in wireless, the signal can flow in the form of electromagnetic waves. So finally we can understand wired and wireless communication differences by definitions, transmission medium, right, speed, reliability, right, mobility, installation cost, security, maintenance, coverage area, then data loss and example and applications, right? I hope this wired and wireless communication difference is self-explanatory. So I hope the students can understand, or the viewers can understand about the complete overview about the wired and wireless communication fundamentals. So thanks for the listening. Hope we'll meet on the another occasion with another video. Thank you.